gamers all around the world. I have become a professional memer. This is one of my creations. You guys know how this feels if you play A2E. AOE4 World said I am a meme god. I got another one. This is just the start. I am a professional memer from now on. I'm retiring from competing, and I'll just be making memes from now on. So if you want to follow on the memes, check out my Twitter. But let's talk about what we're here to do today. There are some very sad news. I'm actually quitting AOE4. I'm not. But there are some very sad news. And the sad news are Mongol, in my opinion, is at the tippity top, pop top, right? I'm not talking about Joe and Bob in Silver League, okay? I'm talking at the highest level. I think Mongol is the worst civ. Or if not right now, it is going to progress to the worst civ in the game. Now, there's been a lot of controversial opinions that I've said in the past and that people heavily disagreed with me, called me Omega Lul, you know, not true. Some of those things that I've said a long time ago that China will be complained about. This was in early game. People said Lamau, China sucks. And then when people learn how to play China, people complain about its late game. I said Grenadier is going to be OP. People were like Omega Lul. Then people complain about that. I said that A2E will be the best civ, if not already. Best or second best civ. People Omega Lul that too, because apparently it's hard to play A2E in Feudal. A2E is now best or second best civ. And I've also called out English to be the worst civ. In Castle, even in Feudal not so great. And then in Imperial the best civ. And people laughed at that as well to me. And turns out it was true. And now I'm going to make another spicy statement. And that is that Mongol, as the time goes, it will become worse and worse to the point of, I'm not going to say being unplayable at the top level, but just being extremely bad. And this comes because of one simple reason. Mongols work in a very similar way that Terran does in StarCraft 2, where you have to do damage in order to compete with other civs. And this is a problem. Every game, every RTS game when it starts, the best civs are the civs that are aggressive, right? Because people don't know how to defend against aggression, right? Like, people used to do like barrack rushes in Dark Age and just attack your gold. And people were like, oh my god, how do I deal with that, right? Then it went into tower rushing. In StarCraft 2, that became with like the early 6 poles attacks and proxy racks and stuff like that. And while those strategies still can work, they are much less successful, not because something has necessarily changed, but because the opponents learned how to defend against that. Now, Mongol has the worst economy buildup out of any civ in the game right now. They have no bonuses whatsoever. So the only eco bonus that they have is Deer Stones, or 2. Deer Stones, that's really good, but not enough. And Step Readout that gives 50% extra gold. Mongol, can they do damage? Yes, right? That's not the... Mongol tower rushing, I think, is still very strong at a high level. But the problem lies where if it doesn't work, you are behind and most likely dead in the long run. Now you might think, well, why don't you just not tower rush? See, that's where the problem lies. If you don't tower rush with Mongol, I feel you are just losing the game. A couple of months ago, the go-to Mongol strats were tower rush or go fast castle, because Mongols were known to be able to get fast castle like this, right? And most of the time, if opponents would pressure you, you would go fast castle, and then you would get lancers, and then you would push back, and that was the Mongol advantage, and then you build towers, take them out of control. The problem is, every civ now can also go fast castle. People learned. For example, English can go equal castle timing as Mongols. French doesn't need to go castle. They can just stay in feudal and fight you with knights. Rus can go faster castle than Mongols. A2E can go faster castle. Delhi will take all the sacred sites and then go castle and then kill you. So playing as Mongol right now passively is just not good at all. And just like anything that relies on doing damage in order to work, over time becomes worse and worse. Like I said, when a game gets released, aggressive strats are always better. Always. No matter what game it is, it's always better to all in and to play aggressively early. Thus, we've seen so many ram pushes early on. Obviously, rams did get nerfed by TCs being able to target. But aggression always is better because people don't know how to play. We've seen more and more 2TC builds. We've seen more macro-oriented play. And Mongol doesn't fit that style. If you go Mongol 2TC, first of all, the amount of wood you need to spend compared to the other civs, I feel like in a way is harder to get with Mongol. You don't have walls, so harassment is much more open to you. And with the coming patch where towers are getting nerfed, all of them, where siege is getting nerfed, because Mongols can build siege engineering on the field, those things are not directly for Mongols specifically, but they're very kind of indirect, direct nerf to Mongols and to Abbasid siege, for example. I'll show you an example of this, what happens when at a high level. And by the way, again, I want to re-emphasize this for the 5th time, because even though I say it all the time, there's always some baboon that's like, I don't know what he's talking about. In my league, Mongol has the highest win rate. Yeah, because you don't know how to defend a tower rush. That's my point. So, this is a game versus Wham in Road to Walhalla weekly number 2 in July. And I'm going to speed things up. I play Rus, he plays Mongols. And he went for Mongol tower... he went for not tower rush now. Because tower rushing Rus is not really great. So he went for fastest feudal with 1 pasture. He had gold next to his TC, which is very nice for him. And then he went into tower rushing my boar. And even though this wasn't a complete all-in from Wham, right, he just tried to tower rush my boar. He didn't like tower rush in Dark Age. He tower rushed a bit later, so his economy wasn't as scuffed because of it. You can see we're starting approximately around the same time on the landmarks, but not really. Mongol is always delayed compared to other civs, even if you are rushing feudal, just because of the way it works. You know, you need to basically on start when Mongol plants the TC, you already lost 1 villager worth of production, because by the time your TC moves, by the time it plants itself, you lost 1 villager. And I personally think that makes a massive difference, because the earlier your economy gets fucked, the worse it is for you in the long run. So, I think that Mongol should start with an extra villager because of that, because it's not in line with the other civs. If you look, 18 workers versus 19 workers. Like, he's already a worker behind, right? Nothing happened, he's a worker behind because of the TC thing. So, let's see what happens. So I go for the boar. He tries to pull it away from me. The boar was around this area, so I knew what I need to do is grab the aggro of the boar and then pull it here. I'm not going to finish this in case the boar gets killed or something. But I get the boar, I pull it close here, kill it, and he starts towering. He puts a tower here, he cancels, he puts a tower here. I go for the wooden fortress. So he is committing now, right? He is committing, he's making spearmen. He pulled 2 villagers. Mind you, he is a villager behind. I upgrade my arrow slits. He goes for another tower here. And my arrow slits upgrade finishes, and I'm actually able to target fire his villagers here, which I'll do in a second. And he's gonna have to cancel this. So, he lost maybe 50 wood there. He cancels the other one, but I think he got full resource back. He lost 2 spearmen, and he has 4 more. And he has 2 here. So if you think about it, nothing that terrible happened, right? Like, if you think about it, like, okay, he lost 2 spearmen, I lost a scout, and he made me do 2 towers. he lost 50 wood, let's say here, and I lost an extra 175 for this. But if you look at the economy situation, it's way worse for him. Oh yeah, he lost 2 villagers as well, right. He lost 2 villagers. But still, let's say he didn't lose those villagers. Let's say the villagers are still there, he just needs to walk them back. If you look at the resource count, I'm severely ahead already, right? Now, if the towering worked, I would have to pull my villagers, and maybe the game would be equalized. So, right now the worker count is 28 to 25. So if the game continues, which it does, he knows, right? I mean, Wham is a pro player, right? He knows that I'm about to go castle. And he can't prevent relic gathering with units, because I already have archer ranges, and I'm going to be able to make horse archers and take the whole map. So what he needs to do, not should or maybe should, he needs to block the relics. Probably there's 5 relics. So now the further Mongol problem comes. He needs to pull 3 villagers to block 3 relics from being taken with towers, but I can still take the other 2 and take the sacred sites. So you don't really block anything. He can't go faster castle, because I'm already going to be there. If he played super passive, I would be faster castle anyway. And the game continues where he doesn't really have the chance to equalize. He's getting further behind. So I'm going castle. I'm chilling. I'm adding archery ranges. I got the boar. I even got these 2 towers for map control. I picked off the spearmen. I got the horse archers, and I start taking the relics. I managed to deny 2 of the towers that he was trying to make because I had scouts in every bush scouting and picking off the villagers, or, you know, getting the villagers under control. So now I start taking the relics. I killed only 1 villager building towers, by the way. I didn't kill more, I think. Yeah, I killed only 1 villager building towers. I took this relic. He cancels the tower. Mind you, 3 villagers were around walking, doing nothing. And he just hit castle, right? He just hit a castle. If you look at his resources, he only has 2 production buildings. He is nowhere near to 2nd TC. He doesn't have the resources for that. I bought 300 stone and I went 2nd TC, because why not? I have the full map control and I have the relics. And this all stems from him not doing damage, right? If he did damage, he would be ahead or equal, but because he didn't do damage, he is just behind, right? So right now the worker count is 35 to 38. I have 3 on lead. I'm getting a 2nd TC. I got 1 relic. I'm gonna get all 5 relics. And I'm gonna get sacred sites. And if you look at the army supply, it's 15 against 1. So he has 1 army, aka this Khan. That's it. That's his whole army. So now he's gonna start producing lancers, right? I think. He went for the tier here. I go to do some harassment. He has to run back. Lancers come out. And I'm gonna pause right here. His first 2 lancers arrive. And I have 22 army. I have 3 scouts, 8 horse archers, no, 12 horse archers, 4 scouts, 4 relics, and I'm gonna take the 5th one soon as well. And I'm starting to capture sacred sites. I'm securing these locations. Again, I'm on double TC, remember that. So even if I didn't take any of the sites, or like if I took 2 relics, he took 3. I have 2nd TC for basically free, because Rus has the wood bonus from the towers that gives them 20% extra resource given, is really, really good. Plus they have the bounty, which is also really, really good. Not only gives you gold, but it gives you harvest rate as well for food. So all these are food bonus or eco bonuses for Rus. Plus they can trade resources to Golden Gate. So, right now, usually the way the RTS games work, if someone is ahead economically, they don't have the map control. If someone is ahead in army, they're not ahead in tech or economy. If someone is ahead in tech, they probably don't have that great economy or army, right? So it's kind of like you can't have it all. You either have one out of the three or two out of the three things. And right now I have 3 out of 3. I have better eco, better army, and better map control. Not to mention, just walling off, easy clap. Makes it a lot easier for me to defend. He gets in here to try harass. I think he ends up losing all the Lancers. And the thing about Mongols is if you go for Lancers, you're so kind of screwed on the economy that if you lose any Lancers, it's really, really bad for you. Like, if I lose 3 Horse Archers, it's whatever. Like, my economy is really, really good. If he loses 2-3 Lancers, it's really fucking bad for him. So, if you look at the food difference now, he did get a second TC, by the way. But he's already 12 workers behind. So, eventually, you know, this might look close in terms of, like, supply. I'm only 20 supply ahead. But we'll have one fight in this game. I have 560 bounty. Building a castle. A key. And we're gonna have one fight here. So, overall, equal army, by the way. Right? So overall, equal army supply. I would say that I don't... compared to other civs, right? If French lost 2 workers, it's not the end of the world. And I would say most of the civs, you would say, well, the units that he lost is not that big a deal, you just continue playing it. Like, if I'm Delhi and I lost 2 workers and then I lost like 5 spearmen, I'm not like, oh, the game's over, right? Because all your upgrades are free, right? So you have plenty of ways back into the game. You can pump out horsemen super fast and you can harass. Mongol can't really do that. Like, they can make Lancers, but they can't make infinite amounts, right? And a lot of people take it as, oh yeah, but Mongols have free stone. They do, but if you go double production on units, then you don't have Springald upgrades on your towers, and then you lose the map control. Because a way that Mongol defends is by having towers everywhere, giving them vision. What happens now is, again, I don't think, I was ahead for sure, but I don't think that Mongol was, due to early things, that the game was over, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think the game was, he took so much damage that it was critical and the game was over. But because of players just being good at fighting Mongols and adapting to what they can do, this is how the fight looks like. With equal army supply. Mind you, he has equal army supply, but he has archers and spearmen, and I have pure horse archer and some scouts, right? And that's it. I'm also taking to Imperial. And now you can harass with horse archers because Mongols don't have walls. And the game's over. Now, what could he have done better? I honestly don't know. I am still playing Mongols every once in a while, and I am still practicing. I do think that Mongol maybe needs a new way to play the game. I don't know what that way is. Maybe Mongols should start opening 2 TC. But this kind of tower rushing into macro play, I just don't think it's that good at a high level anymore. because the risk of it not working is very high. Another similar, I guess, Civ, not Civ, but style, is the Barbican Rush. The Barbican Rush is way easier to execute than Mongol Tower Rush, because you have 10 villagers. If you get attacked, you just make a tower in 2 seconds, and that's it. And then you proceed to fully tower rush the opponent. Your towers have better upgrades. You can do a bunch of different things. And even if shit goes south and it doesn't work, you can go second TC, third TC, and you can kind of try to boom out of it. When a tower rush for Mongols fails, you can't really add a TC or 2 and then be like, oh, I'll just go late game. It just doesn't really work. You used to say Mongol is the best designed Civ. Yeah, that was 3 patches ago. And every change that happens in the game obviously changes things. If I say that Mongol is bad, that doesn't mean Mongol is going to be bad for the rest of the game in 2030. But right now, and the upcoming changes, the stuff that they're doing, I think will make Mongols weaker. And with players becoming better and better, I think that just Mongol is just not that good. And this is coming from someone, by the way, that for the past 6 months, or maybe 3 months, I don't know how long, I have the highest win rate. I'm pretty sure, someone can fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure I have the highest win rate with Mongols out of anyone in the game in tournaments. It's not like, oh, you just suck at Mongols. It's like, no, I've played Mongols a decent amount. It just doesn't feel like not necessarily like a viable thing. Again, it doesn't mean you cannot win with Mongols at a high level. It just means that the risk to payoff ratio is not that great. Because even if the towers do go up, it's not the end of the game like it used to be. People used to like literally not know what to do when the towers are up. Now people are a lot better at that as well. And I think that, like I said, the main issue comes from the economic part of Mongols is just not that great compared to what other civs have. If you compare Atare's economy to Mongols, it's not even close. If you compare Rus's economy to Mongols, it's not even close. If you play French into Mongols, French will have more workers because they produce workers faster. And they will have map control with the French knights. So I personally think that Mongol doesn't need like a buff for like better towering or better, I don't know, whatever. I think they just need an eco buff. Even something like TC costs 100 wood less or 50 wood less or something, right, to give them something would be really cool. Maybe having Uvu cost less wood, although that's going to buff tower rushing, so maybe that's not a great idea. They can give them an extra villager early. Towers are going to be worse and they're going to have 1 less range, so that's something to remember. So the one strategy that a lot of players do go for, which is tower rushing, in the next patch, the towers, when they are upgraded with arrow slits, they will have 1 less range. So yeah, like Gur, for example, it costs 100 wood. You can make it 75 wood. Another idea that I had for Mongols is I think that Mongols would be a lot cooler if you had to use your Gur to move it around and use it for resources. So I had an idea where, what if your Gurs had like a bounty system, kind of like Rus has a bounty system, but each Gur that you make has like if you drop 1,000 resources, you get 5% more resources on that. And it caps at like 10 or 15%. I think that's something that would be cool. It would also be impactful when you kill Mongols' Gurs, and it's not just like a drop-off building, but Mongols actually have to move their Gurs around the map, right? So you can make it so that the first 1,000 resources you drop, which is quite a lot, like you would have to hit in feudal, if you dropped off food at Gur, to get 5% extra resources drop off on that. And that way, if you have wood line or gold or whatever, it makes sense for you to move your Gurs, and it makes sense for your opponent to snipe them so that that would impact your economy. And that would also perhaps provide it so that step readout is not as dominant, because then step readout only gives you bonus gold. But if you use Gur, you can use it in multiple ways, right? But I don't know. This is, like I said, it's my prediction. Before, I was pretty on point with these kinds of things, like talking what will most likely happen in advance. Let's not forget when Mongols got nerfed. You know, when they didn't do any damage. And I said that heavy infantry and especially mass range will be unbeatable. People called me doomer and overreacting. And then we saw mass longbows, hand cannoneers, grenadiers for like a month before Mongols got buffed again. So who knows? We will see. But I do think that Mongol is probably going downhill quite rapidly. I do think that another cool buff, by the way, for Mongols, you know what would be? If the double villager production from TC would cost less stone, because right now I think it's maybe too much. Maybe if the double worker production would be 100 stone or 125 stone, so that way you can make a decision, right? Do I want to go for economic play or do I want to go for the army play, right? I think that will also be cool without necessarily buffing Mongols tower rushing or aggression, but I do think they need something. And I've talked to a couple of people that play Mongols quite a lot. One of them is, I mean, I'll just say it, it's not like a top secret. I've talked to Recon and Mista, and they both feel that Mongol is just eh. And those are both players that play Mongols quite a lot. I know that Mista is, I'm not going to reveal what, but I know he's working on some strats with Mongols. I haven't gotten to see them yet, but I do think that they're either going to need a buff or a severe change in their style. Which is possible, by the way. It's not impossible. We've seen it before, right? Well, have we though? I'm pretty sure there were civs. Well, Rus, for example, right? Rus was a civ that was not considered good, and then people figured out the boar strat, and now Rus is very much playable and one of the strongest civs, actually. So maybe that's something that's needed. Who the fuck knows? And the funny thing is, China is being looked at as the possible worst civ, and I thought it would be the worst civ. But China will still have Barbican Rush, and that is very, very strong, even if you know it's coming. And let's not forget that once you get Castle with China, you can upgrade Barbican into a Springald upgrade. So, yeah. We will see. Either way. Mr. English was also meta change? Yeah, exactly. It's possible. But as it is right now, once again, Bobs and Joes, I'm talking about high-level Mongol play. I am not talking about people getting rushed in Gold League and dying to Mongols. And someone's gonna be like, oh, Mongols is the highest win rate on ladder. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? I think if you actually look at stats right now, Mongol has like second or third highest win rate on the ladder. But that's because I think majority of the people have no clue how to defend Tower Rush, which, you know, is the main thing. And I'm sorry I'm banging on this point where I'm talking about high level, because there's always like 5 people flaming me because I'm wrong, and in their league it still works, you know. So yeah, those are my thoughts. The patch is coming in a few days, so we'll see. You know, I'll try Mongols. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I really hope they're still good and they do well, because as you guys know, I love Mongols. It used to be my favorite civ. I played Mongols the most for the first 6 months of the game. It's not like I hate the civ or something. I want it to do well, and I hope it does do well, or something gets figured out. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this on Twitch, let's keep going.